You had me at the title. Let's talk about Fat Stripper and where that idea came from.
Okay, so first of all, Fat Stripper. I wasn't even gonna be the Fat Stripper.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
I'm gonna bring into the show a good friend of mine, veteran DC comic, who's making waves in entertainment, Hollywood and beyond. We talk a lot about on this show about independent projects and doing for self. And this young lady is the epitome of that, the prototype, the blueprint, the architect. Please welcome to the show. I see her talking. Can you hear me? Okay, I was make sure because I don't want to catch you in the middle of talking to your agent. Please welcome to the show, Alycia Cooper, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Lamont, how you doing? How you been?
I've been good. How are you? You looking well?
Man, I'm trying to make it, man. I shot 2 films in a pandemic.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to slow walk it. We got to let the people know who you are first. Give us a little bit of your background. Tell us, where you're from and roll off some of your mini credits.
Okay, so let me tell y'all, I'm from Temple Hills, Maryland. And I started out while I was a student at Maryland College Park. I started interning at BET in DC. And so, because I always had a love for television production, my major was radio, television, and film at University of Maryland. And then after I graduated, I ended up working at BET. And then I moved to LA and then I was working at BET in LA. I produced some shows like O Drama with Kim Whitley, Vanessa Bell Calloway, and Mari Morrow. Went on to do a bunch of shows for BET and then did some reality shows for BET. I produced College Hill. I produced DMX's reality show, Little Kim's reality show, a bunch of stuff. And then I worked on some sick. That was a lot of fun. I was in the writer's room with the best in the business. Sarah Finney Johnson started out on The Jeffersons, and she co-created Moesha, and then went on to Parker. So I'm sitting in the room with her. Bill co-created 227. Remember 227?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just awesome experience. And I was hoping that I would get a chance to stay in the writer's room because I was a trainee. And unfortunately, I didn't understand how it worked. Other people were in line in front of me, assistants and production assistants and writer's assistants. Everybody was in line in front of me. So I didn't get to stay. So I went back to reality shows. Then I started doing stand-up comedy full time because I've been a comic for 20 years. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to really try to figure out what is it that I want to do. And this pandemic, just for me, like it did for a lot of other Americans, gave us enough time to sit down Indian style corner and figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. You know what? Let me continue my road of writing and directing things that I wrote. Because some people get to direct things other people wrote, but that hasn't been my experience. So to direct, I had to write.
Right.
So that wrote Trade, and that was a 30-minute, half-hour short. The best way I could describe that is Brokeback Mountain and Moonlight, Fatal Attraction.
Okay.
The second one was Just Us.
Wait a minute. Let's slow that down. Brokeback Mountain, the movie, Moonlighting, the TV show.
No, Moonlight. Moonlight, the movie that won. Remember that year that was a mix-up with who won? And it ended up Yeah, Moonlight and meets Fatal Attraction. So 3 Oscar Award nominated movies, are all inspired me in various ways. So that's Trade. And then Just Us is a movie about, I always say, like, sometimes there's justice and sometimes there's just us.
Okay.
And so Just Us is about a guy who got away with lynching a young man when he was young in college, him and his buddies, because he thought the young man had made advances to his sister. And the young man comes back to him in adult form, and they have a conversation because the older judge is living his best life, and the young black man never got an opportunity to.
Wow.
So
okay.
It's supernatural
drama. More of a drama.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the last one, don't say it yet. I'm gonna save that one. that one. So up to this point, right? So you pivoted. So a little backstory. When I was here, when I was in DC, coming up in DC radio, and I started comedy, you were around. but you were kind of back and forth. You were like one of the people that left early, left town and hit the road and went to Hollywood. And when I got to Hollywood, you were really in a groove. You were in a groove. You were doing mainstream and urban, and like you said, you were in the writers' rooms or whatever. Talk about the industry as it was then for you as a female, as a Black female.
Ooh, difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult, because what we have to realize is most industries are male dominated. It doesn't matter what the industry is. If you talk about medicine, most of the doctors are men. If it doesn't matter with Fortune 500 companies, most of the CEOs are men, and comedy is no different.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of men. Men look out for men. It's a boys club, a boys network. So you always feel like this interloper trying to infiltrate a profession that's not meant for you. So, and then when women get breaks, they don't help other women because they're like, it can only be one.
Yeah, right. Right.
So, where men don't feel that there can only be one. So, it's difficult. You're at the back of the line, and you just got to keep clawing your way closer to the front of the line. And you got to understand, I did that 4 times. I did that in LA. I started from the back and had to work my way up. Then I moved to Maryland back home in 2008. I was in the back and had to claw my way back up. Then I moved to New York City. I was in the back and had to claw my way back up. And then I went to Las Vegas and I was in the back and had to claw my way back up.
I missed that. So what was that about? Why
I went to Vegas. You know what? I was so tired of traveling. I was so tired of traveling because, we traveled overseas for the troops and, I've been to lots of countries overseas, just a plane ride over there is like 2 days, so, and in the beginning, it's exciting. Everything's exciting in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then after you do something for a few years, you're like, okay, what's the next
chapter? Wear and tear. That wear and tear.
That living out of a suitcase. And, so I said, you know what do you want to do next? And I said, well, I want to be able to work somewhere and sleep in my own bed. So I said, let's try Vegas. Because if you get a residency in Las Vegas,
true story.
And you're in the same place several nights a week, you can sleep at home.
Yeah.
And then Vegas was cheap. It still is. Like you can get a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Vegas for $700 a month, and that includes your cable.
Yeah. So did you get the residency or you were just a resident?
I was just a resident. I was trying to get a residency. I almost got it. Edwin San Juan got it. He snuck in right in and got it. And Edwin got the residency. But you know what? It still was a great experience. I met a lot of new comics that I had never known, never met before. A lot of us are still friends to this day. It was a great experience. A lot of fun. Did a lot of the big casinos and, everything is a learning experience, so that's what it is. My
only Vegas story is I only know one person that had a residency, and that was George Wallace. Yeah. And I remember early on, this 08, 07, and I told him, he was like, come on down anytime, man, just come on down and tell, just leave my name at the door. And I came, I said, yeah, I called him one time, I said, yo, me and my wife here. And he was like, your wife? And then he hung up on me. Like he was but anyway, moving on. He was that I was married. So let's go back to Hollywood. So you're in the writers' rooms, you're writing for shows, you pitching, you're doing all that. You mentioned being side by side with a legend. Now this is a white lady, I presume.
No, black lady. Sarah Finney Johnson, black lady.
Okay.
Yeah, and she co-created Moesha along with Via Spears and Ralph Farquhar. And Ralph Farquhar started out what he did. I think he did like Crush Groove or something. He did some big films, but then his big TV show was Married with Children. So for Married with Children, they went over and created. It was 3 African Americans, and they created Moesha with Brandy.
Yeah.
If you come in with a heavy hitter. It makes it a lot easier to sell your show.
But once you saw that they were taking care of their people, did that dissuade you in any way? Like, did that really, take the wind out of your sails?
When I saw what?
When you saw that they were taking care of their people first, like you said, you couldn't get in the writer's room all the way because there were people in line and you had to learn that lesson. Did that make you bitter at all?
It didn't make me bitter because what I realized was there was a pecking order and these people were paying their dues in a sense. If you're the writer's assistant, that's a job I would never have. You are in that room, you're like a court stenographer. And I mean, you are typing and you are typing and you are and then every revision, then you got to change it to the pink script, and then you type and you type, then you just the blue script, then you type it, then it's the aqua script. And I mean, what they do is brutal.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm sitting in the room just throwing out jokes, laughing, you know. So I didn't have that kind of pressure. And I was like, yeah, they deserve. So I couldn't even hate. My thing was, I was just glad that I had the 26 weeks to learn how to do it. And then I said, you know what, let me try to sell my own stuff. You know, that's the way I came away. It was painful that I had to walk away from that writer's room on a successful show. But I understand that, you know, if I got it. If I was the person in line, I would want my spot, you know. So I had to, it didn't make it hurt any less, but I understood it. You know, and everything in this industry, you have to get in there just to learn what the real protocols are, because I didn't have any idea. When I first started doing stand-up, I didn't even know what that entailed. I didn't know people were writing jokes.
What do you think they was doing?
I thought it was doing like we do on the back of the school bus, just jumping.
Oh, just off the top of the head, right? Yeah.
I didn't know they were preparing an act.
I had to learn that lesson too. Yeah.
I had to learn that lesson. And when you see them on TV, because you know, Def Jam was our first real introduction into our peers doing comedy at a high level. We didn't realize they had been doing those jokes on the road for 3, 4, 5 years before we saw them. And another thing we didn't realize, Lamont, was that people did Def Jam and bombed and they never aired them.
Yes. There are a couple
people never aired. They got up there, they choked, they bombed, and they never aired them. So we just thinking it's so easy. Everybody doing well. We don't realize how many people bombed and didn't get aired.
True story.
You know, so I had to learn. I had to learn everything from the bottom to the top. But let me tell you this that I learned about being in a writer's room. You are essentially, it's like being on a Supreme Court. You're doing everything by committee.
Yes.
So it's not like you throw your best joke out there, and if everybody else go, your joke is not going to make it on air. As a stand-up comic, nobody can veto the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's real.
And that's what made it the best for me. I'm like, okay, well, y'all done shot down my jokes in this writer's room. Well, tonight I'm going to stage. I'm saying everything I want to say.
And also as a writer's assistant, you could have the best joke and won't get the credit for it.
Yeah, it could be political. It could be real political.
Yeah. All right. So fast forward to the pandemic, 2020. You're a lifelong creative, and everything's put on hold. What was it that inside of you that said, all right, now's the time. Let me get these movies done. Let me do them myself. Let me go find a way to get them out and keep it moving. How did we get to this place?
Well, this is really what happened. And I think for us as African Americans, the only thing that has held us back from really taking over the world is finances. Because I didn't have the finances to make these films features. It would cost me at least $300,000 to make these short films features. So because I didn't have $300,000, I had to make them short. So what I did was, before the pandemic, I wrote Trade, and I wanted Trade to be a feature. There's no way I was going to be able to get $300,000, but I found a company who was going to put $50,000 into it, but they owned it. I mean, owned it, you know, so I signed a very bad deal. I will tell you that right now, because I didn't have any what they call narrative directing to start a reel with. I have all this reality show directing, which is not considered a narrative. You know, so I can't go get work. I couldn't get work as a filmmaker. I couldn't get work doing television aside. I couldn't turn in a reel and apply for Grey's Anatomy because they had never seen me do a narrative. So I'm like, if I want to do a narrative, I'm going to have to go ahead and take this horrible deal. And it was horrible, but the outcome was amazing as far as my reel. Now, what I'm realizing as a director, you can't have a reel with one project. Right. Because you're applying for programs, and the people applying for programs with you have at least 3 projects. You know, they might have a music video. They might have a web series. They might have one narrative short film, but they have more stuff to intercut through their reel than my one project. I said, okay, so now I'm going to need at least 2 more. So once the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, you don't have nothing but time. But what you have to do is you have to get a crew and a cast willing to work in a pandemic. And some people was like, I'm afraid of the COVID, girl. I can't do that. A lot of people was like, I have cabin fever. When and where do we start? Everybody got paid. And what I did was I sent a link to everybody, and the link was a place to go and get COVID tested for free. So I asked everybody to go get COVID tested 5 days before we shoot, because it takes like 3 days to get the results back. And everybody did it. Everybody was negative. So we were all good. We were calm about the fact that we had already been tested. And then everybody had individually packaged meals, drinks, of course, are individual. Everybody had on masks. Some people we had gloves available, all the antibacterial wipes and hand sanitizer. And we stayed 6 feet apart. Especially in a strip club, we had way more space. More space than we needed to socially distance the strip club. Right. So we got it done. We got it done. And I used the same group of people twice.
Oh, even more brilliant. And see, I wanted you to, break that down and go into that to give people game on how to get stuff done. There's ways, and from surviving in the game and in Hollywood for so long, you learn to do so much with so little. So in a time like this, you just activate. That is, today, that is the superpower. Look at that. That's the superpower on the Great Conjunction, using what you got. All right, let's jump into this this first one. We haven't talked about the second one yet, but let's jump into the Just Us trailer, written, directed, produced. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the platform where these are being featured on. So here we go. This is Just Us, written, produced. Are you in this one?
No.
Okay, all right. Directed by Alycia Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Phone's ringing. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. You've been out here living your best life all these years.
I give back to the community.
College boy.
I'm a good man.
Family man.
What do you want from me?
Confess!
I know I can never undo what I did before, but I'm trying to atone.
Give me that. Bones. Black skin.
Okay. Came out the gate with ladies and gentlemen, comedian Alycia Cooper. Yeah, came out the gate with that one. Okay, then. All right.
But see, this is the thing, Lamont. What people don't realize about us as comics,
When
you think about comics are very dramatic people. You know what I'm saying? When you think about who wins Oscars, a lot of times they're the comedians. People don't even know Michael Keaton was a stand-up. You know what I'm saying? It's comedians. Look at Monique won an Oscar for Precious. Jamie Foxx won an Oscar. A lot of the Robin Williams.
Right.
So comics have levels. They want to put you in a box, but comics have levels.
Now I'm gonna go real quick to the Peanut Gallery chat. Somebody mentioned 300,000, and they were surprised when you mentioned the budget. 500,000 is a term. It's called micro budget. Is it micro budget? That's low. Yeah. That's low in Hollywood. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the uphill battle that is when that's considered a low budget film between 300,000 and 500,000. Yeah. And also you left out, you're a hustler of all sorts. You left out the part about when you were crowdfunding, when you were trying to micro source in the beginning. That was about 2-3 years ago. I think it was for trade.
It was for trade.
You hit your contact list. I remember the emails. You hit your contact list. It's like, here's the trailer. This is what I want to do. Here's the script. Yeah. Shoot me some money. It don't matter how much. I hadn't talked to you in years. I shut off $10.
Yeah. I needed that too.
Yeah. You gotta use your resources. So what platform? Because I see that I'm gonna put up the link shortly. There's a link to watch both of your new movies. How did you get affiliated with that platform?
Well, on LinkedIn, a lot of people hit me up on LinkedIn. That is really a good platform because that's where the business people tend to reside. Is LinkedIn, and I get hit up a lot on my DMs and just straight out. And a gentleman named Flea Lee hit me up, but when he hit me up, he was hitting me up about stand-up. He was like, "Are you interested in doing a stand-up special? We can try to put something together in Las Vegas." And I said, "You know what, Flea, right now, I'm trying to focus on this directing and this writing. I really want to be able to write and direct feature films." And so I said, I can't split myself up like that. You know what it takes to put together a comedy special, So I was like, right now, that's not where I am. I might be back there sometime late 2021. So then later on, he saw on LinkedIn some of my trailers. He reached back out again and he said, "What are you doing with those?" I said, "You know what? I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with these." I said, because after I did them, I've just used them to cut together a director's reel so that I can get an agent and get some work. But I do want to get them out there. So Flea Lee is like basically a black Netflix.
Okay, you got a platform. Because I saw today, this is off topic. Clubhouse is already having issues and with content, and I see people all day with someone, when are we going to get our own? Black people need to make their own platform. Flea Lee TV is one of those streaming services.
Yes.
And here you have Alycia Cooper with 2 of her projects on there now, and which leads me to the second one, which you had me at the title. Let's talk about Fat Stripper and where that idea came from.
Okay, so first of all, Fat Stripper. I wasn't even gonna be the Fat Stripper,
Okay.
because people don't understand. Directing is a lot of work. You got every shot. You have to select every shot. So it's like you can't be in front of the camera and behind the scenes at the exact same time. So I can't be behind the monitor watching the shots if I'm the lead. So I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be a lot. But then I said, you know what? Go ahead. You've been acting forever. Go ahead and make yourself the lead. You just have to stop down and have them rewind back and show you the last shots. You can look at it afterwards, which takes a little bit longer, but it's doable. Other people do it all the time. Just go ahead and bet on yourself. You don't have to pay yourself like you would have to pay another actor. So I said, I'll go ahead and do it. And it was very challenging, very challenging. I mean, I was sweating because I'm playing 2 roles. So, and then it's hard to stay in character when you got to jump out of character to go direct. And the director on the set is the person, everybody, whatever questions somebody has, comes to that director. Is this the right wardrobe? So-and-so ain't here yet. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, everything comes to that director. So I have to direct and I have to be in character. So it's like you jumping in and out of character. And then you have to, you're wearing many hats, many huge hats. Yeah. So, there's a couple shots I wasn't able to get. There's things that, I know that could have been done better. And the thing is that I'm doing it with a low budget. When Steven Spielberg and these guys do a film, they have the budget that supports them knocking it out the park.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing everything on a shoestring, but this is the way you want to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the way you want your early projects to look. So later on down the line, people be like, well, look how far you've come. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into this trailer right now. From the people that didn't bring you P Valley comes Fat Stripper.
The coronavirus has taken the world by storm. This pandemic has come on like gangbusters.
Girl, I just started working again after being unemployed for 6 months.
Alicia Miller just can't catch a break.
If you touch an infected surface, you're screwed. Literally.
I can't afford to lose this job right now. And you know it's bad when I'm down to my last 4 gallons of Haagen-Dazs and 2 bags of Ruffles.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Girl, you know my panties are like a cop's body can around any black man. Off. You know what I'm saying? May I help you?
I'm here to see Smitty.
I can't loan you any money.
I'm here to strip. Oh, we fat shaming now.
Truly.
All right, you can start tonight. Be here at 9.
To promote me, Smitty, you stuck on these toothpicks. What you don't realize is thin is no longer in.
She certainly was one hot piece of tail.
And now, it's the return of
Cheese.
Oh!
Alycia Cooper stars in Fat Stripper. She strips for chips.
She strips for chips. Oh man, outstanding! I gotta give you a double round of applause for that. I'm putting the link in here now. Mr. Clarkson posted the link. Repost this one, Mr. Clarkson. This one is the one that includes my code, my special code. So repost this.
Yeah, make sure y'all click on the one that says Radio King.
Yeah, that's the one to say so they know that it came from here. So yeah, so there's that. And you can watch both movies through the link on that platform, correct? On that streaming service.
Both of them, they're both on there. It's $5.99 and a small service fee, but you can see both of them as of December 23rd. You know, the 22nd at midnight. He's doing like Netflix level stuff.
Okay.
Because the 22nd at midnight, just like how Netflix does. Because I just saw Mom Rainey's Black Bottom at midnight.
Right.
You know, so midnight after the 22nd, you'll be able to see it because it comes up live on the 23rd at 12 a.m. So yeah. Both of them. You'll see both projects on Flea Lee TV. And he put up the link for you. Lamont put up the link for you, the one that says Radio King. That's the link you want.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud of you, and those projects look good. And we can't wait to watch them. What's next? Anything down the pike after this, or you just promoting this hard for 2021?
Yeah, I'm promoting real hard for 2021. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I got a lot of people reaching out to me that want to air this. Fat Stripper's making some noise. You know? So and I plan on turning it into a feature. I want because Fat Stripper the feature. We're gonna have Big Girl Night every Sunday. That's gonna be the night that pays the bills for the rest of the week. So I want to get Gabby Sitterbay in here to run the Big Girl Night. I want to get Lizzo in here because Lizzo's mentioned as part of, a part of this movie. And I want to get Joe's Freak Shack is the competition to Smitty's. And I want to get Snoop Dogg to play Joe of Joe's Freak Shack. So, yeah. We coming with the firepower in 2021.
But ladies and gentlemen, Alycia Cooper, Fat Stripper, and Just Us, 2 projects available now on Flea TV. The link is on the screen. You got to use that link. And that's the link that get you where you need to be. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Lamont. Thank you for everything.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.